What's up, risk managers? Welcome back to the stream. Today, we're going to continue through the Anthropic Academy and sharpen our understanding of AI, automation, and real world implementation. The goal here isn't just to consume this information, it's to build practical skills, think critically, and improve together in real time. So feel free to ask questions, share ideas, and collaborate in the chat. Whether you're experienced or just getting started, everyone is welcome here. So let's lock in and let's keep on jabbing. This lesson is estimated to be 10 minutes. The learning objectives are by the end of this lesson, we'll be able to describe 2 to 3 use cases for Claude AI that we can try right away and know where to go to find additional use case inspirations. No matter what you do, Claude can help streamline your work. This lesson highlights practical use cases organized by role, so we can see how Claude applies to our specific context. Each use case below links to a detailed guide in our use case gallery with step by step instructions we can follow. General purpose use or general professional use. These use cases apply across many roles and industries. First, generate project status report. Keep stakeholders informed with clear and consistent updates. Second, analyze patterns in user feedback. Extract insight from customer comments and survey responses. And finally, package your brand guidelines and skills. Create a reusable Claude skill that applies to your brand standards. Sales. Sales professionals can use Claude to accelerate deal preparation, create compelling materials, and stay on top of competitive intelligence. First, build a battle card library. Create competitive intelligent resources that help your team win deals. Second, prepare for sales deals. Research prospects and organize your talking points before important meetings. And finally, create sale reports. Turn your pipeline data into clear, actionable reports. Marketing. Marketing can leverage Claude to analyze performance data and efficiently repurpose content across channels. First, analyze campaign performance. Extract insight from campaign metrics to inform your strategy. And finally, adapt content across platforms. Efficiently repurpose content for different channels and audiences. Finance. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Heijen, isn't that like voice generation with the use of AI? Mm, okay. Finance. Finance professionals can use Claude to build models, draft documents, and make sense of complex spreadsheets. First, build financial models. Create and refine financial projections with Claude's help. Second, draft investment memos. Structure and write investment analysis more efficiently. Mm. Understand and extend an inherited spreadsheet. Decode complex spreadsheets and add new functionality. HR. HR teams can use Claude to create better onboarding experiences and documentation. Create new hire onboarding guidance. Develop comprehensive onboarding materials tailored to different roles. Legal. Legal professionals can use Claude to track complex timelines and manage discovery processes. Track discovery timelines and analyze patterns. Organize case timelines and identify key patterns in legal documents. Research. Researchers can use Claude to plan literature reviews and verify data analysis. First, plan your literature review. Organize your approach to reviewing academic sources. And finally, verify statistics from raw data. Double check calculations and statistical analysis. Explore more. These examples are just the beginning. Visit the use case gallery to browse the full collection and find inspiration for Claude can help with your specific work. Let's look at that. Let's open that in a new tab. Uh, you said so. I have it set up. What I haven't or what I don't have set up right now is Claude Code and Claude Cowork, but I think that's like the same thing, right? So once we get to that point, I will pay for the subscription. But right now, I don't have the Claude Code subscription. I'm still on the free tier right now. But I do have everything else set up though. Do have everything else set up. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but okay. Nice. Motion for book man. Okay. I think I need to keep this on this screen. Yeah, so I do have Claude set up already. I was asking it a few questions this morning about because I'm restructuring my workout so it can be optimized because I before it was structured, but I'm reducing some exercises, especially the cardio part, because the cardio takes up a big portion of the workout, and I was asking Claude to give me some. Use VS Code, and you say you sent me a DM. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's what I'll probably do. All right. So use VS Code, Superbase, and Vercel. Uh, I have uh, I have a what is it called? I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Damn, I forgot what it's called. I think it's very similar to Vercel. And you do everything in with Claude Code and VS Code. Yeah, I'm gonna have that set up by next Saturday stream because I think this is just the introductory course, and I think we're gonna get into Claude Code and everything else in the next lesson. So I'll have VS Code downloaded, Claude Code downloaded, everything that we need, and we'll just move from there. Mm. All right. So, explore. Oh yeah, we got to look at the use cases. So, get inspired by what you can do with Claude. Browse practical examples across research, writing, code analysis, and everyday tasks, whether you work solo or with a team. Okay, so it looks like Claude has a bunch of use cases. So, I mean, let's see if we can find what we're looking for because, I mean, mostly what we do is trading, of course. Let's just say finance, update following financial models after earnings. Mm. So, what do you think that we can start using Claude for? I mean, that because I mean, we can be cute and use Claude, but if you want to be practical with Claude, what is something that we can do? Actually, you know what? You know what we could do right now? Because like this is going to be a short module. Actually, let's finish this, and then we can kind of play around with it. So we can at least get a 30, so we can at least hang out for at least 30 minutes because I think this is going to be a quick, yeah. All right, so this is estimated to be 10 minutes, and then the conclusion is probably going to be a couple of minutes. So let's get this done, and we can just play around with Claude. All right, so other ways to work with Claude. The estimated time for this lesson is around 10 minutes. So the learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, we'll be able to understand when to use additional Claude products, including Claude Code, Claude for Slack, Claude for Excel, Claude for PowerPoint, and Claude for Chrome. As mentioned at the start of this course, Claude is an intelligence. Claude AI is just one way of working with it. Claude is also available in several specialized tools designed to meet where we already work. This lesson introduces 5 additional ways to work with Claude, each tailored to specific workflows and use cases. So we got a video. That's like super. Restart the All right. All right. So Claude Code is an agentic coding tool that works where we work. In our terminal, IDE, browser, or even Slack, it understands our code base, execute commands, and handles entire development workflow through natural language. When we use Claude Code, first we want to build features by describing what we need in plain English, and have Claude write the code, run tests, and create commits. Second, we need to debug issues by pasting error messages and having Claude analyze our code base to identify and fix problems. Third, we're navigating an unfamiliar code base and want to ask questions about how different parts work together. Fourth, we want to automate tedious tasks like fixing lint errors, resolving merge conflicts, or writing release notes. And finally, we prefer working in our terminal alongside our existing IDE and developing tools rather than switching to a separate interface. Looks like we got another video. Hmm. All right, so Claude integrates directly with Slack, allowing us to get help in channels and threads or bring Slack context into our Claude conversations. When to use Claude in Slack. First, we want to draft responses to messages, summarize lengthy threads, or break down complex discussions without leaving Slack. Second, we need to prepare our meetings by having Claude pull together relevant conversations and share documents from our workspace. Third, onboarding to a new team and want help understanding ongoing projects by reviewing channel histories. Fourth, we want to hand off coding tasks directly from a bug report or feature discussion. Just tag at Claude, and it can spin up a Claude code session using the surrounding context. And finally, we need to quickly get answers about industry trends, technical concepts, or company information during our conversation. All right, so we got another video.
This is Claude for Excel. So you may be familiar with Claude in other contexts. Claude has a mobile app and a desktop application, as well as our website Claude.ai and even Claude Code. But Claude is also available inside the environment that you use the most, inside your Excel workbooks. And I want to show you today what that looks like. So here I've got an HR headcount plan. Let's say you just inherited this headcount planning model from a colleague. It's got multiple tabs, formulas linking everywhere, and you need to get up to speed. But instead of clicking through each sheet trying to piece it together, let's just ask Claude. So the first thing I'm going to do is open Claude from the upper right. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. And then I'm going to start asking it questions. So the first question I have here is really just about context. Walk me through this workbook. What's on each tab and how do they connect? And what you'll see Claude doing is starting to explore the workbook. It's not just listing the tabs, it's explaining the data flow. It's reading everything and understanding how everything links together. And you can see here, it's talking about how assumptions is the place where the central inputs come in that affect the model. And then that links into headcount, which feeds into compensation, which ultimately rolls up into a summary tab. So in seconds, you can understand how the whole model works. This is exactly the kind of analysis that you could get from the person who created the model in the first place. But in this case, Claude is really just doing it for you inside your context. Now you can see here, something interesting came up. It's found an error. There's a ref error in the headcount tab, and we can go over here to the headcount tab to take a look at that. So you can see, yep, there's at least one, maybe several ref errors here. The first one is in E15. And so Claude is offering to investigate and fix the references that are cascading throughout this workbook. So let's do that. So we'll tell Claude there's a ref error in cell E15 on the headcount tab. Can you diagnose and can you fix this? And what Claude will do is trace the error. It already understands a fair amount of the specific context from its initial analysis. And here it can see the issue, right? It can see what's going on. It understands what the broken problem is. Now it's giving you a choice. It's saying, well, my recommendation would be to replace the formula with 0. And, there's other ways to do this. You could set it to 1 if you are planning to hire someone, or it could be a different value you specify. So in this case, I'm actually just going to say to Claude, use your best judgment. I could give it a specific answer to the question, saying 0, 1 or other. But in this case, I want to see what Claude does. And so Claude is going to analyze and decide, essentially as it recommended, to set the planned hires to 0. So now you can see that on the left, the problem has been fixed. The ref errors have gone away. And in fact, the cascade has already happened through the rest of the sheets, creating the appropriate data. So now let's look at something like a scenario model, which is exactly what this model was designed for. And here's where Claude really shines. So let's say leadership asks, what if attrition runs higher than expected this year? So instead of manually updating cells and hoping you didn't break anything, you just say what you want. So I'll go back to the assumptions tab, take a look at this. I've got 10% as my attrition rate. Let's say instead that I want to update my plan to assume 15% attrition instead of 10%. Show me what changes. And what you'll see here is that Claude will make the edit and then give you an analysis across the other tabs of what actually has changed. This will also be reflected in the model itself, so you can go and look at it on your own, but Claude is going to give you a walkthrough, and it's going to help you understand what actually changed. Now, the headcount projections, compensation costs, all of those things recalculated correctly because the formulas are helping to do that. It's not just individual cells. And some of this is purely built into Excel. Other things are things that Claude is able to pull out for you and also help you recalculate based on those relationships. So now let's try to visualize this data. Let's say that leadership wants a visual breakdown of headcount by department and level. We'll go over to the summary tab because that's probably the most logical place to put it. So now what we really want, let's just say, a pivot table and a chart would be really helpful. So we'll give Claude that direction and let's see what Claude does. So you can see Claude is planning to create a pivot table from the headcount data, and it's also going to create a bar chart to go with it. And you can see this is the pivot table right here. It managed to produce that pretty quickly. And then it's going to create a stack bar chart. That sounds like the right basic visual. And you can see down here, yep, that's exactly what I get. I could have given it more specific direction on formatting or on exactly how to produce this, but that really seems just about right to me. And so you can see over here, essentially it's giving me the option of continuing to adjust the formatting, but there's no digging through menus, there's no formatting headaches. You just tell Claude what you need and it builds it. All right, one last thing. Let's say that you want to add a new calculation that doesn't exist yet. So if I scroll over a little bit here, you'll see I have base salary as my last item in here. And what I'd really like is something like fully loaded cost. So let's add that. Let's add a column that calculates the fully loaded cost per employee using the rates on the assumptions tab, but in the context, in this case, of the headcount tab. So Claude's going to add this column, and it's going to use a formula that references the assumptions tab, right? It's not just copying the numbers, it's building formulas. These are the things that you would need to ultimately maintain this model yourself. And so you can see here, it's putting in place fully loaded costs. And it's going to, again, calculate this based on the various things that it knows are going on in this worksheet, and then gives you a fully loaded cost for your team. So that's Claude for Excel. Whether you're exploring an unfamiliar model, debugging errors, running scenarios, or building visualizations, Claude's working alongside you. It's helping to analyze the work and actually working within your frameworks rather than giving you something that you have to copy and paste. Claude works alongside you right in your spreadsheet. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So Claude for Excel brings Claude directly into Microsoft Excel through a sidebar, allowing us to analyze, understand, and modify spreadsheets through conversation. So, when to use Claude for Excel? First, I gotta remember to turn that off. First, you are working with a complex multi-tab workbook and want to understand how specific formulas or calculations flow works across sheets. Second, we need to update assumptions or inputs across our model while preserving formula dependencies and relationships. Third, we're debugging spreadsheet errors like ref, value, or circular references and want Claude to trace them to their source and suggest fixes. Fourth, we want to create new spreadsheets or populate existing templates with data while maintaining proper formula structure. Finally, we need a quick we need to quickly build pivot tables or charts to visualize our data. Claude for PowerPoint. Claude for PowerPoint brings Claude into Microsoft PowerPoint as a sidebar. So you can draft, edit, and restructure presentations through conversations while keeping your existing templates and brand styling intact. So, when to use Claude for PowerPoint? First, you want to turn an outline document, you want to turn an outline, document, or set of notes into a first draft side or set of notes into a first draft slide deck without building each slide by hand. Second, we need to rewrite or tighten slide copy, shorten bullets, adding speaker notes, or adjusting tone for specific audiences. Third, we're restructuring an existing deck and want to help reorder sections, splitting dense slides or merging overlapping ones. Excuse me. Fourth, we want consistent formatting applied across decks, titles, styles, and layouts without manually fixing each slide. And finally, we like quick visual suggestions for a slide, such as which layout or chart type best fits the point we're trying to make. Okay.
Claude for Chrome brings the power of Sonnet 4.5, our state-of-the-art model for computer use, directly to your browser. In this example, Claude is helping with a home renovation. It will organize your renovation budget, which is currently spread across a planning doc and several contractor email exchanges. Once prompted, Claude gets to work to collect the right context. In this case, finding all the relevant emails and receipts you've requested. Claude uses what it learns and actively works with your spreadsheet, tracking down the missing numbers and updating your budget in real time. Finally, Claude makes it easy for you to share your plans with your partner by drafting an email for you. But don't worry, you're still in control of the final edits before you send that email. We took many steps to build this product with safety and security at its core. For example, you control what actions Claude can take through granular permissions. We've also implemented protection against prompt injection attacks and added restrictions around what websites Claude can use. And it always asks before taking sensitive actions like making purchases. Bring Claude to your browser today.
Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking about this morning. It's interesting how cybersecurity literally the whole idea is to protect against an autonomous system taking over your local machine. And Claude is like a slap to every cybersecurity professional's face because it's basically that same autonomous system that cybersecurity try to protect your local machine from is basically that bot that has absolute control over your machine. It's it's interesting. Yeah, I definitely agree because I had Claude create some slides for me, and it was so professional and clean. I was blown away by how clean it was. It's scary. Uh, it's scary how fast this thing can whip something up because it's kind of like an interrupt really because we're so used to building something like we're so used to taking at least a couple of weeks to have a complete build, and Claude does that literally in seconds. Scary, but it's exciting at the same time. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that is crazy, right? Hmm. So you're using Claude to post to your social media channels and everything else like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. That's something that I'll probably I will into that before end of day on how I can use Claude to post on Twitter, uh, probably TikTok, YouTube, or probably just Twitter. Probably Twitter and TikTok maybe. I'll look into it. See if I can start generating content because I think at this point, uh, I mean, my main thing that was, or my at least my main blocker for right now is that I'm not focusing on those things because I'm focusing on the product first. I feel like I'm not where I want to be with the product. And once I get to the point to where I am with the product, then I can start the marketing. And that would have been a whole thing within itself. Now with Claude, Claude can help me out with that. And it just makes the streamline, I guess it streamlines the process even more efficiently than what I would do by myself. And that's the scary part because now there is like no reason to have a finished product or there's no excuses anymore. You have an AI assistant that is not necessarily free, but it's $20 doing $10,000 per hour type of work. There's no excuses for not moving forward. And that's the scary part. But I mean, hey, I guess you gotta just start doing it and then improve over time, right? Mm. You created your own software? Mm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's definitely it. All right. So Claude for Chrome is a browser extension that adds Claude as a sidebar in Google Chrome. It can observe what you're working on and take actions directly within your browser. So, when to use Claude Code or Claude for Chrome? First, you want to summarize articles, research papers, or web pages while browsing. Second, you need help drafting email responses or managing your inbox. Third, you are filling out repetitive forms and want to automate the process. Chrome already does that. Fourth, you want to test website features or navigate multi step workflows without manually clicking through each step. And finally, you need a browsing assistant that maintains context as you move between tabs and tasks. This makes it great for pulling context from niche internet internal tools, CRMs, or dashboards. Important note: Claude for Chrome is currently in research preview. Anthropic recommends using it for low risk tasks on trusted websites. The extension asks for permission before taking high risk action like purchasing or sharing personal data in certain categories of websites, such as financial services and adult content, are blocked by default, which is great because these scammers, these scammers are really good at what they do. And if they can somehow access Claude and have it perform tasks because it has so much access to your machine, older people that don't know any better, will it just makes it so much easier to steal from those people. I recently saw a video of I don't know how this scammer got this lady that was probably well into her 60s or 70s and got her to go into a Bitcoin machine. I don't know how the hell he did it, but because at first and foremost, Bitcoin is, I mean, for probably someone that's less like on the other side of 50, Bitcoin is relatively new. So when I see these scammers get, older people like in their 60s and 70s and 80s, I'm surprised that they even know how to even use something like that. That's surprising to me. But yeah. Anyway, so summary. So each of these tools extends Claude's capabilities into the specific environment where we want to work. So here's the tools, what it's used best for, and where it runs. So Claude AI, general task, research, writing, analysis, file creations. Where it runs in your web, desktop, and mobile app. Claude Code, what it's best for, software development, code-based navigation, and Git workflows. Where does it run? It runs in your terminal, command line, IDE, or your browser. The tool, Claude Cowork. What is it best for? Complex, multi-step task research briefs, document creation, file organization, and data analysis. Where does it run? In your desktop and mobile apps via Dispatch. So Claude Code, and Slack. What is it best for? Team collaboration, meeting prep, quick answers and context. Where does it run? In Slack workspace. Claude for Excel. What is it best for? Spreadsheet analysis, financial modeling, and formula debugging. Where does it run? Microsoft Excel sidebar. Claude for PowerPoint. What is it best for? Slide creation, presentation editing, and formatting and design. Where does it run? Microsoft PowerPoint sidebar. And finally, Claude for Chrome. What is it best for? Web research, email management, and browser automation. Where does it run? Chrome browser sidebar. So, what's next? Wrap up with a short recap of this course and a quiz to learn. Well, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. All right. So, yeah, we'll go through this. This is the last module for uh, for Claude 101 for this course. Next week, we'll be going to the next one, and we're just going to keep on jabbing. So, this is estimated to be 5 minutes. So, here we go. So, congratulations on completing Claude 101. We built a solid foundation for working with Claude effectively. So, let's recap what we've learned and point us towards resources for continued growth. So, what have we learned? Getting started with Claude. First, Claude is an AI assistant built to be helpful, harmless, and honest. More than a chatbot, it's a thinking partner for complex work. Second, we can access Claude through web, desktop, and mobile apps with our conversation syncing across devices. Finally, effective prompts set the stage for the context, define the task for the action, and specify rules, the format, and the style. Getting better results. Iterations is key. Treat first responses as starting points and refine through conversation. Second, common challenges like generic responses or wrong tone can be fixed with more specific context. And finally, AI fluency encompasses four competencies: delegation, description, discernment, and diligence. Organizing your work. First, projects create dedicated workspaces with persistent knowledge, custom instructions, and team collaboration. Second, artifacts are standalone outputs like documents, code, diagram, and interactive tools that Claude creates alongside our conversation. And finally, skills are instruction packages that teach Claude specialized workflows, including built in document creation and custom skills that we can create. Expanding Claude's reach. First, connectors link Claude to your tools, such as Google Workspace, Slack, Notion, and many more, so it can work with your actual data. Second, Enterprise Search provides a dedicated project for searching across the organization's knowledge sources. And finally, Research Mode conducts systematic, multi source investigation that would take hours to do manually. Putting it all together. First, Claude applies across roles: sales, marketing, finance, AR, legal, research, and beyond. And finally, beyond Claude.ai. You can work with Claude through Claude Code, Slack, Excel, and Chrome. Additional resources. Learn more about AI and Claude. AI fluency courses, free courses on effective AI collaboration. AI capability and limitations, free introductory course on what AI can do and what it can't do. Use case gallery, step by step guides that prompts for powerful workflows. Anthropic Help Center, detailed documentation and troubleshooting. Prompt documentation, comprehensive guides to getting the best results. Product specific sources. First, Claude Code in Action. First course on using Claude for development workflows. Second, Introduction to Claude Cowork. Free course on how to use Claude's desktop companion for multi-step work. And finally, Connector Directory. Browse and connect your tools. So, here are words of encouragement. The most important thing that we can do now is get started. The skills we've learned here will sharpen with practice and will develop intuition for when and how Claude can help. Start simple. Pick one reoccurring task from your work this week and try it with Claude. Maybe it's drafting an email, summarizing meeting notes, or analyzing a spreadsheet. See what happens. Iterate. Learn what works for your specific needs. Remember, Claude is designed to be a collaborator, not a replacement. The best results come when you bring your expertise, context, and judgment to the conversation. You now have the foundation. The rest comes from doing the work. All right, so we've completed it, man. We've completed the first lesson. So Claude 101. And it looks like next Saturday we will be doing Claude Code 101. And I guess we can get a preview of what to expect from this. Your first prompt, daily workflows, customizing Claude Code. Hmm. It looks like yeah. So I'll have VS Code downloaded just in case for next week. I think we'll probably be in Claude Code for probably the rest of the Claude Code work, Claude Code in action, AI fluency, building with Claude APIs, introduction to models. So yeah, we definitely have a lot that we can go through. Introduction to sub agents, introduction to agent skills. Okay, all right. So we already know the road. We already got the roadmap. Okay. We did say we're gonna look at this. So use cases. I know Santiago's been utilizing and making money using Claude, and hmm, I just want practical use cases aside from actually what we can do is probably ask Claude. What are practice? So oh no, I'm not talking right now, Santiago. I'm not talking. Hmm, maybe I should do that, huh? Maybe I should do that. Uh, like I said, um, with every one of these streams, I want to kind of build on and improve the experience. Uh, I guess I didn't ask you guys because I guess I just kind of just thought about it, but just in case y'all wanted to listen to your own music while I talk, I turn the music off. But you saying that, Santiago, during the times where the sound is off, I guess that does, or at least I'm not talking, or if I'm reviewing something, all that dead. Okay, all right, all right. I'll find something. Okay, something soft, something just in the background. Okay, all right. So we'll go over this and we'll just be done because I think we're at our hour. We concluded the first lesson. Next week we'll be going through Claude Code. Uh, and yeah, and that's why I kind of turn the music off, just in case y'all guys want to listen to your own music while I speak. So people like to listen to their own thing. Okay. I guess I just have to be more mindful about how much dead space there is, I guess. Just be mindful next time about that. But that's something, okay, that's something I'm gonna be mindful of for moving forward. So I appreciate that. All right. So this is the output. So this is the output. So pre-market, this is the highest value. So daily briefings, like the one above, overnight news, key levels, trade scenarios, economic calendar. A specific level analysis, pacing your key numbers and asks for confluence zones. Economic calendar breakdown, what's a CPR from means. During the session, paste a headline and ask, what does this mean? Quick sector context. That's something that we could start doing. See what it outputs. Post market, end of day review, closing analysis, string specific use cases, help script educational explainers for the audience, explain what VWAP is for beginners watching the stream, generate talking points around macro themes you're trading the day, summarize a complex news event into clean, simple language you can read on stream. Okay. Where I'm limited for live trading, I don't have line data feed, so I can't read your DOM, actual prices, or read real time tape. So, okay, so let's see what it pops out. All right, so act as a professional futures market analysis. So let's copy and paste this prompt. We're gonna input this prompt at the start of each stream. I can probably do a lot better. That's the same prompt that this is the same prompt that ChatGPT gave me just about. It's the same prompt. So I don't know if it just copy and pasted the prompt that I gave it before. After briefing generates follow up with specifics like elaborate on the bearish scenario or what the CPI print means for my short setup. Hmm. Want me to also write an end of day briefing prompt? Yes. All right, so let's copy this and see. Okay. Okay. All right. So end of day brief. Let's look at this one, man. Let's see what happened on act as a professional market analysis. Let's see what this outputs and see what. All right. So pasting your trades, today's trades. I don't care about that. Um, today's date is what was the 8th, May 8th. Excuse me. May 8th. All right. Let's see what it pops out. And we'll be done. Oh well. So Santiago said what he's doing now is hooking up Stripe and Zoom APIs with Claude Code to accept payments for Zoom courses. Hmm. So you're talking about when you say Zoom courses, are you talking about through Zoom? Creating a Zoom app with their APIs, learning as I go. The trick is as long as you understand how the structure, the plan, then you can have Claude help you on the way. Yeah. So I wonder if this is probably I wonder if this is more Claude Code because I've asked it to give me a debrief and all this information is blank. So the plan is a show that is live on a webinar. Okay. Okay. So I guess I just have to can you just do that every time? So mm, does it create that dashboard? Oh, so I have to make it into a skill or something? Okay. Yeah, that's probably gonna use up a bunch of tokens, man. Okay, so uh I'm probably gonna have to so this is the prompt that it gave me. I don't care about any of the internals. Uh yeah, this is collecting a lot of information I don't care about. So what I'm gonna do is probably go through all this and see what I even care about, or and see what I care about and what I want to know before. So the only thing that I care about is what's what's moving the market. That's the only thing I care about. Uh, because understanding what moves the market will keep you on the right side of the market. I mean, Friday, I mean, this week really showed, it really hurt a lot of people this week. The market really hurt a lot of people. Um, the market really showed that if you didn't trade what you saw and you trade what you thought, man, a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people lost accounts. I went through the forums. A lot of people lost their accounts this week. A lot of people lost their accounts with big balances. And that's the danger about having too much money in your account, because it's just a gateway to add to the position. All right, so it said this is what it gave me. Give this to your Claude and see. All right. Uh, let's see what it let's see what it pops out. Probably gonna be like the same thing of what it just gave me, but or oh, this is what it gave you. Okay, okay, never mind. This is what it gave you. Okay. Mm, okay. All right. All right. Key levels that matters. Uh, man, if you were on the right side of the Nasdaq this week, man, the Nasdaq treated you right this week. We made so much money last week on the Nasdaq. I honestly, I can't believe that I moved away from Nasdaq, but I just have to change my mindset. I have to change my mindset. I have a ranged based trading style. So when the market trends, that's when trading becomes difficult for me personally. That's why I stick to instruments that range more often than they trend. But if I switch my mindset to a trend mindset, to where I'm looking for the next trend, I can make way more money with the Nasdaq without having to wait on a setup. I mean, honestly, all I have to do is because we saw some really great trades on Friday. We actually look at that. We saw a really good setup that just worked. It was frustrating that it worked because it got stopped out, and I just didn't have the drawdown to. But this is a weekly chart on the Nasdaq here. This is a weekly chart. We can immediately see that the market is in a upward trend. I mean, that's immediate. I mean, we got the market literally just rotating. Oh crap. The market is just rotating back and forth in that range right there. So, mm. You know what, Santiago? That's what a lot of bears said this week. Honestly, the CTF data, and we'll have that collected tomorrow. We'll go over it. But I mean, even the CTF, well, I mean, it wasn't, I mean, it was bearish. I mean, it was bearish, but in hindsight, I guess technically it was only 6,000 contracts net negative. I mean, even though we had a situation for the first time in a very long time that there were more shorts, or that there were more shorts than longs, the market went up anyway. So I don't know what that was about. That's probably the first time that I've seen the CFTC data be absolutely wrong. It was only we only had a one red day last week. And I think the market recovered the next session. Was this Monday? Was March 4th Monday? Yeah, so May 4th. This was the only red day. And the market just went straight up. This is a red candle, but it's bullish. It's a bullish red candle. I mean, even though it closed red, it closed above the 50% of the previous candle, more towards the highs. It failed to break down and then it just went higher. No, actually, I didn't. Well, honestly, I'm not even going to look at the ES no more. On Friday, if you traded the ES, you made money, but the Nasdaq was obviously the better choice. All right, so the ES, this is what the ES did. Uh, yeah. So this is the daily chart on the Nasdaq or on the ES, and the ES is still going up. We have the breakout. We could definitely pull back though. We can definitely pull back. Let's see if I can find a range right there. Go to the weekly chart and see if there's a range somewhere in there. So we can have our 50 marked out. There's no doji right there, which is interesting. There's no doji at all. I guess no, that doesn't make sense. I mean, even though this is the doji right here, this could be the range. Let's look at that on the daily chart. Okay, yeah, I guess that's the range right there. That's the range. Yeah, that's the range right there. That looks good. Actually, no, it doesn't. Well, yeah, that's the range right there. Okay, because yeah, it's literally on top of the range. That's the range. All right, so we'll see. I mean, we got to break out of the ES. We'll see if it pulls back. Got SMT for a pullback. Okay. I mean, shit. I mean, we'll look for it next week. I've just come to the I've come to the conclusion now that I'm not looking for. I'm just going to trade with the trend because this market is trending at this point. Um, it's trending at this point, and it doesn't make sense that it's trending, but that's what it's doing. So yeah, a lot of people are saying that on the NQ that it just seems like people just throw out a number and that's where the market goes. It's like the market's going to 25K. The market's going to 20, it's going to 30K. We're 700 points away from reaching 30K. So we're definitely going to see 30K, or we're going to see the market probably shortchange the 30K mark like it always does. Yeah. And we'll see what happens. Yeah. Okay. But all right, guys. We reached our hour. I'm gonna end the stream here. Um, I think we went over everything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. So I do appreciate everybody that joined me today. Hopefully you learned something valuable, saw something in a different perspective, or picked up a new idea that you can apply yourself. Remember, improvement compounds over time. Small steps consistently are small steps are what can creates real progress. So with that said, we'll definitely come back next Saturday and we'll definitely continue moving through these anthropic courses. With that said, peace out, everybody.